Are you serious?
Hello, this is How to Kill an Hour. My name is Marcus Bronzy. There's plenty of ways to kill some time out there. Thank you in advance for killing some time with us. This is episode 100, part 2, and I'm joined by Nick Bright. What's going on, bruv?
What's happening, mate? So really, it's episode 101. Like you're clinging on to this 100 part 2. like I wasn't lucky enough to be 100. I've just missed out, but you're trying to get me back in.
What it was, is we never have ever actually done episode 100. We're like on episode 360 something or whatever now. We've never done an episode 100. Like we did 99, and then I just said, oh, we'll just save episode 100 for something when something special happens, you know? So I thought, yeah, I'm going to milk it. Oh no, I'm going to milk out to something special that happened. The award-winning status that How to Kill an Hour has, bruv.
Come on. Pay rises all round for everyone, you know what I mean?
Hang on. Yeah, man. Proper chuff, man. So I just wanted to say, the first time I've actually got to speak to you properly, Nick, innit? I gave you a brief call on the day, man, but freaking hell, ain't it good stuff, bruv?
The only thing that I'm like annoyed about is that obviously because of lockdown and all of that, none of us could be at this bougie ceremony sipping champers and just being like, what? Yeah, award winning. You get me?
What? Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the guys, the How to Kill an Hour guys at the back making noise. Not even their award coming up now, but you know, they do, oh, yeah.
Someone take the champagne away from those guys.
Yeah, there's nothing better than that table wine hangover that you get the day after an award ceremony, right?
Yeah. I remember, the best story I can remember about table wine was I went to the Mobos in Glasgow a few years back now. This is when I first got on One Extra, so it must have been like either 2010 or 2011. And Trevor Nelson was on the table with us, and Trevor was drunk as a skunk. And Trevor don't get drunk that often, but he was like smashed. And I remember up both sleeves of his like suit jacket, he had like 2 bottles of wine. It was like we'd already left the ceremony now. We were going to the after party, and Trevor just like, it was like, do you want red or white? You know what I mean? Left or right, red or white? Like,
what is it about table wine that you know it's like, on the first sip, you're like, I know it's free, but then like the more you drink it, the table wine has this effect where it kind of just loses taste. I'm not even going to say it tastes nice. You just don't taste it anymore. You just feel the straight effects.
I kind of feel like that's just alcohol in general. Like at the start of the night when you're sober, you're like, oh, I don't know about this. This cocktail hasn't been made to the specification that I normally like. Then, you know, by 2 a.m., 2 a.m., it's like they're serving you up like the dregs of the like pint trays. And it's like, you're like, oh, this is delicious. Oh.
Yeah, man. And then the next day you're like, oh yeah, it was that last glass of wine. It was that shot that done it. Really, in reality, no, it's not the last glass of wine or the last shot that you had. It's the 50 glasses that you had beforehand, or the 50 cocktails, man. I hate that when people are like, oh, Marcus, that shot you got me last night, that's the reason I'm finished. I'm like, yeah, clearly the one shot that I got you threw you over the edge. Yeah.
The thing is, shots though, they do, because alcohol, I was reading about this, alcohol is it's slow. It reacts slow to the body because it needs to soak into the blood, doesn't it? That's how it works. That's how you feel drunk. So the reason shots get people so smashed is because they do like 3 in a row, and obviously shots are like stronger as well. They bang 3 in a row, and then 20 minutes later they can't talk. Whereas like when you're like drinking pints, it's like it's slow, innit? You're drinking a pint, it's like, you know, your whole thing taking you forever, or wine or whatever. Shots are just lethal. That's why I don't do shots, mate. You know what I mean? I went out, this must have been about 3 years ago, because I don't drink anymore anyway, you know what I mean? But I went out like 3 years ago, and I bought around, it was, I'll tell you when it was when I met my girlfriend's like group of friends for the first time. So you're putting your best foot forward and all of that crap in it. Yeah. So like, we went to this pub in East London, some trendy gaff, where it cost me about 600 quid for these shots. And like I bought a whole tray of them for the friends and that. And then about 5 of the friends were like, oh no, I'm not drinking, or, you know, I'm all right, blah, blah, blah. So I had like 5 shots of, I can't even remember what it was, like, because I don't like shots that much. had 5 of them left over, and I just went, fuck it, bang, 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 bang. And then literally, I'm not even joking. Next thing I know, I'm on the other side of the pub. So their table's on like one side of the pub. I went to the toilet. I went to go for a piss. I never made it back to the table. You know, them ones. I was on the other side of the pub, just like mad smashed. Like my new girlfriend, who's still my girlfriend now, but then it was all new. She had to come and like get me, and like she put me in the Uber. You know, it's one of them ones. I was on the other side of the pub, like just talking rubbish.
Just to clarify, this is the first time you met her circle of friends.
Yep. But like the thing is though, they loved it. Now they look back on it now when I meet those friends, and they love it because now I don't drink, but they're always like, "Wait, like, we remember the first time we met you. You couldn't even talk." That was just so peak. I was so smashed, man. You know what I mean? One of them ones. You know when when you're out and you're sober and you see people who are in a real state and you judge them, you're like, "Oh, look at that." That was me. I was the person getting judged.
Because I'll be honest, if I meet someone for the first time and then they get absolutely wasted, I'm like, I don't know, man.
A bit of a waste, man.
I don't know if they're really very adequate socially if they come out and meet me for the first time and neck a whole tray of shots. So, you know.
The problem was I bought them for everybody else, and then they declined them, and I'm like, this shit cost me so much dough because we're in this East London trendy place. I'm not wasting this. Just banged them all, like 5 of them.
The thought never crossed your mind to sip them at all. Like you could just have a little pop one shot and chill for a bit.
No, because who wants to sip shots? They're disgusting. The whole point of shots is to get I want to get it over and done with. Unless you're drinking like sours or the nice ones that don't do anything.
I don't think at our age we're allowed to actually get sours. If we go to a bar and ask for like 5 apple sours, I'll be like, sorry, we don't serve your age. Those shots.
You're too old for that. You got ID.
Yeah, have you got ID for that?
Honestly, come on, I'm young enough.
Yeah, promise. That I'm in uni and everything. I've done an essay too. Yeah.
I'm a mature student.
So are you fully teetotal now?
Well, like, I wouldn't say like fully teetotal. Like, if I've got this weird kind of rule where like if I'm abroad, which obviously ain't happening at the moment, but like if I go somewhere hot or whatever, or I'm seeing friends abroad, I'll drink then. But I haven't been drunk since New Year's Eve, like not the latest New Year's Eve, the one before that.
Really?
That was the last time I was fully drunk. Because I did that year, I decided I was going to do dry Jan, and then just carried on. You know what I mean? And to, like I said, it's not like a complete shutdown. Like I'll drink low alcohol beer or non-alcoholic beer. Because like I just like a beer, you know what I mean? When it's hot, beer, lovely beer, mate, pint. But yeah, it's not like I'll never ever drink again. But I think me and you have spoke about this in the past, Marcus. Just like as I've got older, man, the hangovers as well just get more severe. Any young person listening to this right now, like who's like, what are you talking about, man? Like I feel bad for like an hour in the morning. Yeah, that shit don't last. Like when you get older, them hangovers, they're lasting the whole weekend. If you get smashed on a Friday, you're still feeling it Monday morning when you go to work, mate.
You best believe if you are under the age of 20 right now listening to this, what you think is a hangover, like Nick Bright said, is probably the end of a hangover. At our age. I'm telling you, like I remember my first proper hangover. I actually thought I was dying. I actually I couldn't open the curtains because it was too light. I think I lay in the fetal position for 6 hours sipping at water. And I remember just sipping the water. The noise of the water going down my throat was loud. I was like, oh, it was horrendous.
It's so weird how that happens. And the mad thing is, I feel like an old man even talking like this because I can remember being, younger and being like, nah, man, that's not going to be me. What are you chatting about? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But for, like, we're not even old, bruv. Like, in your early 30s is not even old. But for some reason, just the recovery rate, like, it just drops hard. I guess it's like being a professional athlete, but like where
I like this.
Your fitness, like how professional footballers, right, when they're in their 20s and whatever, their recovery rate is mad quick. They can play a game, and then if there's a game midweek, they're cool. They can play that. As soon as they get in their 30s, That ain't happening. If they play 190 minutes on the Saturday, they can't play again till the following Saturday, and even then they're still feeling it. That's like basically drinking for us now. we're like professional athletes, you know. Like we can only do it once a week.
Yeah. If we do a full game, if we play both halves, woof, might need a couple of weeks off.
You're licked. You know what I mean? I need some physio.
I hear that. But at least we've got good non-alcoholic beers now. Like over the last couple of years, there's an actual selection of not just like mainstream beers, because there was always I think there was always a Beck's Blue that's been around for a few years.
Beck's Blue.
One that feels like they put a bit more effort into it. Do you know what I mean? Like I do like a non-alcoholic Heineken. That's quite nice. They do it by draft as well in some places.
Heineken Zero is one of the best ones in terms of like the matching of the flavor of the actual Heineken. Really good. They do that in draft. But also you can get like craft non-alcoholic lagers and ales and stuff now as well for the like hipster market. And I read a thing somewhere that the low alcohol, no alcohol market, I think it's called the LOCO, maybe I might have made that up, but you have to Google it. That market is one of the fastest growing because young people now are, for some reason, going teetotal much more than when we were young. When we were young, it's like people couldn't wait to be smashed. People were like drinking at the bus stop or in the park by the time they were 16, getting smashed, you know what I mean? Drinking that cider out of that big blue bottle. Nowadays, it's true though, drinking it through a straw, spinning round, just trying to get like as drunk as you can for as cheap as you can. But now these kids, the like rate of teetotalness amongst generation, whatever they're bloody called nowadays, and I don't know the generation. I always get lost. X, Y, millennials. You know what I mean? That generation, they're drinking way less. So like non-alcoholic brands or non-alcoholic drinks, it's a really, really fast-growing market. So if you are trying to get into business, it's worth looking at that.
100%. If you've not already set up your PPE sales business and made an absolute load of coin, the next thing you want to be doing is zero alcohol. But yeah, I thought about it. There's no brewing process, probably less legislation because you're not selling alcohol. It's just a juice of some sort. And to be honest, they charge you a bit more than they would for a Coca-Cola. So to be fair, you're making better margin than if you're selling soft drinks. And like people are used to paying like £5 for a beer or six quid for a pint in London. So you could charge £4 for a non-alcoholic beer. Bosh, making money.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of places now, like the disparity in price between alcoholic and non-alcoholic beers is hardly anything because of that. They're basically charging you the same amount of money for a non-alcoholic beer almost. But in terms of the brewing process, I don't know this for a fact, but I did read again somewhere that a lot of them, they actually do brew it as beer and then they remove the alcohol later so it tastes, so they can get the taste as close as possible to an actual alcoholic beer. So for that reason, I don't know what the actual legislation is in terms of like, because when you do buy a non-alcoholic beer in the supermarket on the self-service checkout, for example, you still have to show them your ID.
Is it
even when it's like a 0.0? But I don't know whether that's just because because it comes from the same aisle as the alcohol or what. But I think there's still traces of booze in it. So for that reason, it's still classed as alcohol. But I'm loving it. There's my favourite one at the moment is Brooklyn Beer. They've got one called Special Effects, I think it's called, and it's just refreshing AF, bruv. I could drink one right now. Actually, I'm getting myself at it.
Do you know what? I need to get back on the zero beers. I'd love to tell you that I've been living a teetotal lifestyle. I've been eating sensibly. I've been exercising loads. But if I'll be honest with you, Nick, I've been drinking wine. I've been not really working out as much. I've not really been eating that healthy. I'll be lying if I said I didn't have pizza for lunch today.
Yeah. Did you? What pizza?
I had to go to the Papa. I had to go see Papa John's.
Even though Papa John's a bit racist, but
No, what? No. Oh, what? Just because is it what racist? Because it's playing on the Italian card, or has he done something racist?
No. The actual CEO. Hang on, wait. Let me he dropped the N word.
Oh, all right. Well, Domino's.
wait. Let me find it.
Oh man.
John, racist.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Let me just get it. Papa John's founder John Shatner resigns over racial slur. This was in 2018. This guy.
Oh no! Oh well, no. Nick's just
the
showed
guy
me
who's
a
on
picture.
he's on the boxes and everything, isn't he? The founder and chairman of pizza chain Papa John's has resigned hours after being forced to apologise for using a racial slur in a conference call in May.
So you're telling me when I proudly walk around, when I pick up my Papa John's and where I'm taking out my rubbish and I take out the pizza box and put it into the bin afterwards, my neighbours are seeing me and going, "Fucking idiot!
Yeah,
eating that racist pizza."
They're going, "I hope you enjoyed that racist, terrible pizza, Marcus."
Yeah, Black Lives Matter, Marcus. Yeah, and you're eating Papa John's. Well done, mate. Well done, mate. All right. Well, that'll be the last time I have that delicious buttery sauce again. Then.
Yeah. Sorry to ruin it for you, because his pizzas are nice, and for anybody else listening to this, I may have ruined Papa John's for you. But yeah, I'm pretty sure though. I mean, nobody can be sure or certain, but Pizza Hut and Domino's, they must have had racists involved somewhere. There's so many racists in the world out there, who knows?
I have a feeling if I Google Pizza Hut and racist and then then type in Domino's and racist, I will just not eat pizza again from a takeaway. I'll have to just go to Pizza Express or something. And then you know what I'll do? I'll probably Google Pizza Express and racist.
There's racists everywhere. You know what you have to do? You have to make your own pizza, Marcus, mate. It's not the same though, is it? It's a bit like back in the day when you used to want pizza for dinner as a kid, and your mum would be like, "I've got one in the freezer." Mum, don't even. What are you eat? What? Don't even say that. It's not the same. And now that I'm an adult, I think there's no way my mum actually thought it was the same. She's just saying this because she doesn't want to give me the delicious, lovely pizza that I want, and she wants to give me this crap cardboard £2 pizza from the frozen aisle in Tesco.
It tastes like a biscuit without sugar in it. That's what that base tastes like on those pizzas.
It's definitely not a buttery biscuit base.
It's not a buttery biscuit base. But how is lockdown treating you, Nick? Before we get into the format of dropping a clip from over the last 4 years of How to Kill an Hour.
Yeah, man, it's not too bad. Like, I think we're all pretty used to it now. All these months down, and also things have eased quite a lot in the UK now, compared to like late March, kind of early April. That's when it was super strict and everybody was sort of working from home. Now more and more things are open, so it feels a little bit more normal, apart from, like, I would say way more people are wearing masks and stuff now, and it's pretty normal. You think back to kind of pre-COVID, if you saw lots of people wearing masks, you'd be like, "Oh, that's a bit strange," or "Why are they wearing?" You would like question it. You'd be like, "Yeah, well, why are they wearing masks?" Whereas now it's like, we obviously know why, because it's a bloody global pandemic, but also like it's just normal. And the weird thing is now it's about to be compulsory in shops in the UK, but even, I don't want to, I say the UK, in England, because the devolved nations, don't want to turn this into a political podcast, but the devolved nations make up their own rules. So,
and Scotland's got their shit sorted out. That's what they have. They got their shit going the right way.
Scotland hasn't registered any deaths for, I think it's 7 consecutive days at the time of recording this. Wales has had days where they've not had any deaths. Northern Ireland as well. England, not so much. So that's a bit of a bit annoying, but yeah, the kind of mask thing is going to be compulsory in shops. But the weird thing is they've now turned around and said, like, if you're going into, like, say like Pret to buy a sandwich, you don't have to wear a mask. No. Because Michael Gove, one of the politicians, was spotted in one of these shops not wearing a mask, even though the thing that I don't get is it doesn't come in until the 24th of July, but he was spotted, and then the politicians were all on TV saying, "Oh no, you don't have to wear a mask if you're buying a sandwich." Like,
what a obscure, like, little thing that you can't do. So if you're going into the shop to get a cup of coffee or a sandwich, I presume you can take the mask off. But if you go into the same size kind of shop and you're getting, like, I don't know, some paper clips or something, got to wear a mask. Do you know what I mean? You'd think.
I don't know how they're going to enforce it, man. That's the thing for me. Like, they're saying the police, there's going to be like £100 fine if the police are called and you're not wearing a mask or whatever. But there's people out there, there's these nutters out there. You must have seen them on the internet who, like, are anti-mask. They're like, they think it's a muzzle. They think the government's trying to control us and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fam, just just shut up and put a mask on. Like, it is, you can take it off when you come out the shop. No one's saying you have to sew it to your face.
Yeah. I think there's worse things that I could get like tricked overdoing by the government. If I found out this was all a hoax or all some nonsense from the government, I'd be like, all right, you got me. Wore a mask for a few weeks. It's not like it's anything that's really going to damage my life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not like, you know, they're hacking into our Twitter accounts and asking for millions in Bitcoin. You know, it's not like they're doing that. They're just saying.
Spread some light on that one, Nick, before we jump into the clip. That's a great story.
Yeah, basically Twitter getting hacked. It was a bit wild. Twitter got hacked last night. Lots of high-profile accounts, including Barack Obama, Elon Musk, Kim Kardashian West, loads of
Kanye
others.
As
basically.
well,
Yeah, Kanye, and it was like all of them were tweeting, basically saying if you put in like a certain amount of Bitcoin, they're going to match it, or they're going to. I didn't really read the tweets, but from when it was like, you give me money, I'm like, how are people still falling for this in big old 2020? It's like the original when email first came around, and you used to get a random email from someone who's like, "Oh, I'm in the army and I can't get home to see my family. Can you send me some money?" It's like, no, why are you sending money to strangers? Like, I don't care if they're celebrities. Like, even if it was them asking for the dough, I'm not sending it.
And also, of all people that need dough, you know that they're probably, you know, not really the kind of person that needs you to send them £1,000 or 500 quid or 100 quid or whatever. But what's amazing about this hack, though, is it's not like Nick said hack. It's not like they've hacked the separate accounts. The people that hacked this hacked Twitter at the top level and were in Twitter. They were getting involved in Twitter in the way that only the people that own Twitter can do. And it got me thinking, are these guys just sliding in the DMs, having a little look at what Kanye's got in his DMs?
You would.
What Kim's got.
Like, if you didn't do that, you're mad. Like, can you imagine if I had hacked into Twitter? I'd be looking at President Trump's tweets, like DMs. He's DMing Kim Jong-un saying, "Yo, fam, don't press that red button. I'll come and beat you up, bruv."
Send him a DM picture of him holding the football. You know, the briefcase that's got the button in it.
Yeah. It's like, my button's bigger than yours. Like, I'll be looking at everything. You think of the stuff that those people know now that they could release to newspapers. They can make more money doing that than they can with this stupid Bitcoin shit. You know what I mean? Just like get all the info and then hold those celebs to ransom. That's what I'd be doing. But the funniest thing that came out of it, actually, was I was directly impacted by this hack. Not because they decided to tweet people off of my account asking for Bitcoins, but because, hilariously, I am one of the people who's verified on Twitter. Every single blue tick account, or blue check if you're listening in the States, every single account that's verified could not tweet yesterday. So I was effectively in Twitter jail. I was trying to tweet and it wasn't happening.
Wasn't fun, bruv. Wasn't a fun day. I'll tell you that for free, man. But
I did very much enjoy it, though, that like lots of people I follow who aren't verified were like, they were tweeting things like, "I'm taking this moment to say I am the king of Twitter," and all of this crap, like, you know, because like
you could add people.
Yeah, basically anybody who had a blue check, you couldn't do anything. You couldn't reply to tweets. You couldn't start your own tweet. The only thing you could do was retweet. So some people, there's some pages that like they've tweeted every letter of the alphabet. So some people were retweeting, like trying to make sentences. And one guy that I know just retweeted "help me," like HELP ME. People jokers.
You know what? I gotta love Twitter sometimes, man. I love it when the internet wins, man. Obviously, a big win for the entanglement stuff. I don't want to get too deep into it, but blooming hell, memes. The rate that memes are spinning around nowadays, bruv.
I don't understand. I said this on my One Extra radio show because I think all that went down on a Friday and I was on air on a Saturday, and I said I can understand if it was like a reality TV show star doing that, because that's what they do. Someone from Love Island, someone from, you know, flipping whatever reality, They Only Wears Essex, Made in Chelsea, whatever. Like, for them to go on a platform and discuss all the ins and outs and the dirty laundry in their relationship, that's what they do. That's how they got famous. But for two of the biggest stars in the world to do that, for me, I just felt a little bit sad. I was like, Will Smith is a legend. You don't need to be doing this stupidness. Like, like you ain't that desperate for clicks. Come on, man. You're both millionaires. Like, yes, this shit has all come out about August Alsina, but just let it run. You don't need to comment on like everything. If that was me and I was in their position, I was as famous and rich as them, I'd be like, no comment. The end.
For real. And any future interview, just don't bring it up in it. Otherwise, the interview's done.
Exactly. That's what the big celebs trust me. You know this, Marcus, and I know this because we work in this industry. Sometimes when you get certain artists or famous people in for a conversation, their PR people are like, no questions about that. Otherwise, everything lock off. And it's funny actually. One of the things you could have spoke to Ace about is I don't know whether, I mean, this is out there because it's been spoken about, but he interviewed Georgia Smith a little while back when she was I think she was performing at One Extra Live, and it was a pre-recorded interview, and her people were like, no questions about Drake, because this was allegedly when she was seeing Drake, and which is alleged. We can't say whether it actually happened or not. But in this pre-recorded interview, Ace just boomed in with a question about Drake, and her people were just like, click, that's that. I love how Ace just bowled in with that question.
Bruv, he bowled in like it was the basement. He rolled in there, bruv.
In a way, it is, yeah. That story. That Ace talking about falling down the stairs in slow motion. The way he describes the story as well, I'm like, how? Like, when you fall down the stairs, it's quick. You know what I mean? When you see people fall down the stairs, it is a quick thing because it's like, dum. Like, it's done. Ace is describing it like it took 20 minutes. It's falling down the stairs like,
clawing at the wallpaper. I could just imagine like claw marks.
And the worst thing was, like, the whole family are there as well,
Yeah.
I mean? So were they at the bottom of the stairs that he was falling down, or were they?
In his version of the story, some people made it down the stairs to help him because he took so long to fall down it.
They were down there before he got there. They were there to rescue him at the bottom.
Yeah, man. Oh, but shout out to him for just running straight in with that question. And what, did they literally just lock the interview off, or did they say, clip that can't go in?
Yeah. I don't know whether he went straight in with the question, because it was a conversation I was having with his producer. I don't know if it was like the question number one, but basically
Drake.
Yeah. Basically they said no chat about Drake, and he just didn't listen and asked the question about Drake, which in a way, like, I do respect, because sometimes as broadcasters, it's if you get somebody in for an interview and you don't ask the question that is on everybody's lips, people question you. People say, why didn't you ask about this? And it's like, it's because like they're trying to tell me I can't. I mean, but it's all about how you do it, I guess. One time I got away with it. So I interviewed Miguel, the R&B singer, and it was just after. You remember when he like leg dropped someone? He was trying to jump over. Do you remember that? He was trying to like jump over a gap or something, but he didn't make it, and he just basically like Hulk Hogan off the top rope. He like leg dropped someone in the crowd. That was jokes. I totally forgot about that.
There were memes for that. There were memes where they cut out the music and they put in like WWE commentary. It's like, no, wait. Oh my God.
It was so good.
Yeah.
JR and the King, the commentary. But basically his people were like, no questions about the leg drop, But then I just got it in at the end. The very last question I asked him, and this was pre-recorded as well, and they said it was cool. Because I didn't just go in and be like, what were you thinking? I was like, bro, I've got to ask you about this leg drop, man. Like, come on, we couldn't have you on without talking about it. Like, what was you thinking when it happened? Like, just in a like jokey manner. And like him and his people were cool about it, which was cool. So, but if I was just like, yo, bro, that leg drop was out of order, mate,
Oh man, that was a good one though. The leg drop. Oh, I forgot the rate that the internet moves at. I mean, friggin' Tiger King. That feels like months ago now. It was months ago. It feels like years ago.
That was the beginning of the lockdown, innit? Everybody was watching Tiger King, and also, I was thinking about Race Across the World, you know, their TV show Race Across the World on BBC. Like everybody was obsessed with that at the beginning of lockdown. And that feels like months and months ago.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But who knows how the future is going to be for us, man? I don't know. I'm kind of getting used to this vibe now. But anyway, what we are going to do in this episode is we've been pulling clips from each of the presenters that we spoke to. So obviously you've heard about Ace's Canadian experience. And it's time for us to draw for a clip, Nick, from an episode. You were part of something that was brand new at the time on the show. And it's something that sent shockwaves through the How to Kill an Hour content and our interviews, probably to this day. Actually, it probably will be something that comes up in the future as well, man. So here's a clip.
You should have said it made a splash. It made a plop. A real plop.
I knew you knew what was coming up. This is from episode 270. So this is the origins.
Even though this is episode 100 and 100B or whatever you called it, you know, we've time traveled.
That's right. 270, and this is the origin of our stand-up or sit-down question.
I don't know if you saw this story, but apparently there's a number of Brits. They surveyed British men, and they asked them like how many British guys sit down to take a piss.
Yeah,
and like quite a lot of guys said yes. I don't know what the figures are, but I'm just going to state right now I have never sat down to take a piss, only a piss. You know what I mean? Like, I might sit down, have a shit, bit of a piss. But I'm not like, because it's long, it's more work. People go, oh, it's a treat. You know, why stand up when you can sit down? Because you have to take all your fucking, like, trousers down to your ankles and shit. It's long. So, by your face, I'm guessing that you're a sit-down pisser.
Yeah, but, like, I wouldn't like if I'm out and about and I'm at a bar or something. I go to the toilet.
It's disgusting.
What? By the way, Billy has positioned his seat in the studio to face me in such a great. But yeah, like if I wake up in the morning and I'm knackered, if it's like nighttime and you know you go for the nighttime piss, like you're knackered at night.
I still ain't sat down though. But I mean, Billy's got something. I hope Billy's on my team with this.
Or a shit and a piss at the same time.
Yeah, of course we're standing up. But I've got a question for you.
Go on.
We had this conversation at work a few weeks ago.
So trying to embarrass me.
When you take a shit,
yeah,
right? Do you stand up or do you sit down to wipe your ass?
Sit down to wipe my ass. I stay sitting.
No way. I stand up.
You stand up to shit. Right, we need to come back to that.
Stand up to wipe my ass.
We're getting right back to that. Once we deal with piss, we're going for shit.
What?
Once we deal with piss, we're going for shit. But for pissing, admit to me, you ever wake up at night and you're tired, yeah? And you're like, you're knackered and you don't want to go to the toilet and wake up too much. So when you come back to your room, you're knackered again, right?
Yeah.
You're too awake to go back to sleep. If you sit down, you don't wake up as much. If you sit down for a piss.
Yeah, but there's more work to sit. This is what I don't understand.
What do you wear to bed? A friggin' like layers. I just wear boxers and a t-shirt. So I just pull my boxers down.
You still got to pull them boxers down, man. If you're standing up, you could just put them to the side.
Yeah.
Put them to the side. Straight piss. Then back in the bed. Boy.
Technically, I could pull him to the side and sit down, but then there's too much room for error there, innit? There's piss on your boxers.
And also, when you sit down, man, some guys, like my mate, a good friend of mine, you've met him, he's done a few escape rooms with us.
Yeah. Legend.
Yeah. When he sometimes he sits down for a piss. He's a sit-down pisser a lot as well. Sometimes he sits down for a piss and then he's like, I quite fancy a shit now. If you got your boxer shorts there, that's going to be peak, isn't it? You're going to shit yourself.
Yeah. No, I'm quite aware of when I want to go for a shit. Like.
I don't think he stands up to wipe his ass though. I mean, that's the next level.
When he goes to your house though for a piss, does he ever sit down?
No, I think he's in other people's houses or whatever.
I draw the line there. Yeah, I draw the line there.
Safety of your own home.
Yeah, in my house, I'll sit down for a piss. But like, if I just want to piss, it's cool. But if it's nighttime, if it's between the hours of 1 a.m. and 5:30 when I get up most days, I'm probably sitting down for a piss.
You get up at 5:30? You fucking mad. Who is this guy?
It's just, so I can enjoy that piss in peace, mate.
Just get up at 5:30.
But now on to wiping.
I mean,
this is a whole new thing.
I got no idea what's going on in this room right now. Man said he stands up to wipe.
You stand up to wipe your. I just want to say, Billy, though, when you stand up, the way that our anatomy is created, your cheeks are closer together. So you're creating. If you've had a messy. If it's not a clean operation, you're doing the equivalent of adding pressure to a chocolate spread sandwich. Chocolate spread's going to start oozing all over the place, mate.
Yeah, but that never happens. So you're telling me you lean forward and then...
Yeah.
That's what everyone does.
No.
Lean
forward.
What do you do?
Well, you go and stand up, standing like near the bath. Stand what you're doing.
What?
So you stand up, but do you sit down again to get some more paper, or do you stay standing? And because you notice the paper is at like waist height.
You stay standing.
Wow.
Yeah, like there, it's up to the...
All right, let's all be honest here then, right? After a couple of wipes, do you give the paper a little check to see if you need to wipe again?
Yeah, of course you
Yeah, you do that, yeah?
Yeah, everybody has to do that.
You have to do that, yeah? But are you trying to tell me that, say like somebody accidentally walked in on you, Billy, in the bathroom after a couple of wipes, they could potentially see you standing up with your trousers around your ankles,
out, you know?
cock and balls swinging out, with you holding a bit of shitty paper, looking at it. Is that potentially what could happen,
The door's
Billy?
always shut, innit? So
I'm just
no one's
saying,
gonna walk
if
in.
somebody walked in, that's what they could see.
I've been safe so far. No one's walked in.
Fucking hell. Got a mate at uni.
This was
Go on.
This was on Twitter a lot. It was like, who sits down? There's a lot of people on my side.
There are a lot. No,
Yes.
really? Really?
Yes, I'll put up this article now.
Can we do a poll on the How to Kill an Hour Instagram and then
What
we
the
come back
hell?
to this next week? Can we do a poll on this, please, on the How to Kill an Hour Insta, Billy? And we have to come back to this next time me and Nick are in the studio
Stand up
together.
arse wipers. They're
Yeah.
they're out there.
We're going to do polls on all of our socials over the next week and find that out, Billy. Billy, don't try and prove a point. We're going to leave it to the people.
There
all
could
right?
be somebody listening to this right now. Look around your office. Look where you're listening. There's stand up arse wipers around you.
Yeah. People there, they look so unassuming.
But they stand up to wipe their ass and they sit down to go for a piss. What's the world coming to?
So,
I
bro.
mean, that feels like so long ago. But I mean, it's still relevant, as relevant today as it was then. You know, you've got people in lockdown now who are standing up to wipe their asses. Shit's wild, literally.
Shit is wild, literally. Do you know what? We have asked that question to a number of guests since then, Nick. And I mean, Billy was obviously I can't ever look at him the same way again. I mean, he's held a lot of heat from our guests that are sitters. But we've also had a number of standers as well. It's almost been 50-50, you know, Nick.
Well, I hope you've blacklisted all of those people that stand up, you know.
They're on a
I mean,
shit list.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't surprise me that that Billy is one of them, to be honest. But you know, all these other celebs and that, you know, they're binned.
I've been asking the question in real life, you know, flushed like it. I've been asking people in real life. I was going to say, have you mentioned it to anyone, or have you just left it in your past because you never want to reapproach it?
Well, to be honest, it's not really a conversation starter. You know what I mean? You're not really gonna. It's not gonna be your opening gambit. Excuse me. I was just wondering. Do you stand up or sit down when you wipe your ass after you've had a shite?
At least they'll remember you, wouldn't they? Yeah.
I mean, it'll be a distant memory as well. You know what I mean? Can you imagine that's your opening gambit on Tinder or Bumble? You know.
Yeah.
Just, excuse me, love. Liked your pictures, but big question.
Do you stand up or sit down when you wipe your ass, darling? Cool. I mean, not in a weird way. I just like to know what I'm getting into.
Not in a weird way. I mean, is there any other way?
But yeah, man, that was definitely a very funny episode, and it's a question now. Whenever we have a guest in, and I go, you can tell the ones that have listened to a few episodes beforehand with guest interviews, because I'm like, I've got a question to ask you, and they're like, fuck, here we go. They get all tense, and they're like, is it the question? I'm like, yep, it is, mate. But yeah, I'm just shocked by the evenness of kind of stats. I really thought it was going to be like a 1 person out of 10, but whenever we've done multiple like what they call polls on Twitter, on Instagram, we've done stuff with just getting replies from the show, it always works out at like 55-45 stand sit.
That is just wild to me, because the mechanics of doing it standing up, like, I don't want to get too graphic for people. They might be eating right now whilst listening to the pod, but like, if you're sitting down, you know, stuff's more spread, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, man.
Like, whereas if you're standing up, stuff's a bit more like clenched together. You know what I mean? I hope Billy's got a supply of wet wipes in his bathroom, because he's going to need them.
Well, Ace said he might have a small batty, so he's not got much cheek that's going to get in the way. So it might be a slim batty thing. If you've not got much cheek, then
Oh,
you
he
don't
said
need to worry
Billy's
about
got
that.
a small batty.
Yeah. So
I
Billy's
thought
got
you meant Ace had a small batty. I was like, are you taking the piss? Huh? I love Ace. He's my bro, but that is a total lie.
Yeah, that, no, I reckon that slim, those with less cheek don't need to work, that can stand up a little bit. But I don't know, man. I mean, we had CJ Beats was on, and his technique from Amsterdam was him actually standing. He stands up and turns around to face the door, which made for a very, yeah, that's right. So he stands up and turns around like he's facing the lavatory for a wee, and that's how he wipes his bum.
Allow it, man, because then you're like you're face to face with your own shit. Like, what is going on?
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
what's wrong with these people? I'll never look at them the same again.
I don't know, like people's bathroom, like their bathroom behaviors, I do find them like, not intriguing is the wrong word, but it differs so much. Everybody, whatever everyone does in the bathroom, they presume that's what everyone else does. So for example, if you're a tongue scraper, you're like, yeah, everyone must tongue scrape. If you're not, you're like, well, you fucking tongue scrapes. Do you know what I mean? But obviously it goes all the way down to shitting as well. Do you know what I mean?
There's a sketch on tongue scrapers actually on, do you know that Mitchell and Webb look? You know, the guys from Peep Show? Yeah. They got the sketch show that they do, that Mitchell and Webb look. And like, they're basically like, they work in, like they work for like a toothbrush company, and they keep coming up with like bullshit inventions for the toothbrush. Like, we put blue bristles in, and then in 1999 we put a thing on the back, and then we put zigzag bristles in. Where are we going next? And then like, they go around the table, and he's like, what are we going to do? How are we going to make people carry on buying new toothbrushes? And then one guy just goes, I think we can make people brush their tongues. And everyone around the table goes, what? What are you talking about? Brush their tongues? And he's like, no. Listen to me. If we tell them they have to brush their tongues, they'll do it. Like, basically, that is what's happened, isn't it? Like, now everyone's like making yourself gag like and shit when you're brushing your teeth. But, you know, everybody does it.
Yeah, man. I tell you what, I love a good old tongue scrub. I got a special setting on my toothbrush. I got an electric one, and I can flip it over. It's got like the tongue bit on the back of it, the little ridges. Oh, yeah. Love a good tongue scrape, bruv. Really gets me going.
There's a like a Facebook advert for like this weird tongue scraper, and the advert makes me feel queasy, man. It's like a thing that you use to actually scrape your tongue. It's not like connected to your toothbrush or anything. But the advert just shows like some dude scraping his tongue, and then all this like, I don't know, like,
it shows all the junge and the shit coming off his tongue.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't need to see this. Yeah, it's like, it's so nasty.
That is like there being a toilet paper advert, and the person wipes their ass and holds up the tissue and goes, look, I've got loads of shit off it. Yeah. You're like,
which is what people do really when they wipe their ass. They always have a little check. Oh yeah.
Never check the first wipe. Dev's on that as well. But
sometimes the ghost one, bruv. Like you do a dump, and then it's like, even on the first wipe, there's nothing there.
It's the like, magic shit.
They're the best ones though, because you're in and out of the toilet mad fast. And then you've got other ones where it's like fucking, you just wiping forever. You know them ones where it's like,
yeah. Why is it you get those ones when you've got shit to do though? When you're in a rush a little bit as well, like stress.
Fucking hell, what is going on here? Man's been like, I've used nearly a whole roll. Fucking hell. Shit needs to stop.
Oh man. See, look, you could talk about shit all day long. Day long.
Foodcast.
Hey, there we go. Great minds. Yeah. And again, hey. But to be fair though, on lockdown, Nick, I've loved seeing your setup on your social medias. You have got that looking Chris. I mean, right now we're not at said setup at the moment.
Yeah. We've got it's not quite as good as yours at the moment, even though, you know, we I don't want to shatter the illusion for everybody, but Marcus isn't actually in the How to Kill an Hour studio, and the only way I can tell is I've been to the studio, and I know that you wouldn't be sitting there because you'd be sat in the corner, like facing the wall. It'd be a very weird place to sit. And secondly, because your shirt's like, the writing's green, it says Hawkins, and then every now and then, it's not happening now, but every now and then it kind of, you can see, because you've got a green screen basically.
Yeah.
So like you can see like the Hawkins goes see-through,
so you can see through me.
Yeah.
Sick, man. You know what? I'll be honest with you. A couple people have slid in the DMs, seeing a few clips, and have gone, "Oh, right, is your studio open during lockdown?" Oh, great, really? Man. Yeah, and some of the times it's like not even when I've had the green screen. I've just been sitting like in the kitchen or something like that, and I've got the mic up, and I've just used the normal Zoom cutout, which you still see a green like line around me, and they're like, "No, mate, it looks all right. That studio is it open now?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, cool." Like,
the normal Zoom cutout. The reason I'm not using it is because I got fuzzy hair. Look, I'll put Carol Baskin on. And it's like my hair just looks shit.
Like, I love the fact that why is that the one that you've got ready to go?
Just because it's funny, isn't it?
That's fucking class, yes.
Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin. Did you see the prank someone played on a Facebook Live the other day where they got her to shout out Rolf Harris and Jimmy? Americans always say it, Jimmy Savile.
It was for. There's this website called Cameo, and it's like, if you're like a Z-list celebrity, basically, you can people can submit messages to you, pay you for it, and you just like shout someone out on their birthday or whatever. It's just peak British humour, basically. Somebody submitted Rolf Harris on his birthday and Jimmy Savile, who, if you're not across who they are, they're basically two presenters from like the 70s and 80s in the UK who basically turned out to be notorious paedophiles, which is very, very dark, but it is peak British humour. That right there is just like British people. That's like what we think is funny. What we'll do is we'll get this woman who has no idea who these people are, because, you know, most Americans probably have no idea who those people are, and we'll get her to say this. And it kind of went viral. I haven't seen her. Has she mentioned anything about it, or I've only seen the clips?
I don't think there's a response from her, but she doesn't seem like the kind of person that can respond to every single thing someone does to her. Because I feel like after the Tiger King came out, I feel like she was getting loads of heat. I think she's the kind of person that's like, you know what? I'm not looking at the comments. I'm just cracking on with my with my Tiger and my Lion Zoo, and do my little lives here and there.
Sometimes that's the best thing to do, mate. You know.
Nick, I looked at the comments once for the Trek stuff I'm doing.
Yeah, but that's because the problem is with stuff like anything that's got like fanatical fans, you know, that's what you're going to get. Post, not scroll, is what they say. You know, if you use social media, post, don't scroll. But we all end up scrolling because that's kind of.
Yeah, you can have a little. I mean,
scrolling.
Nah, I don't go scrolling. I don't go that far, but I'll have a little cheeky look. I sometimes I like to just gauge like whether the content's going the right way. But I think the algorithms just throw you what they think you want to see. But boy, with Trek stuff, mispronunciation, and you know me, I'm terrible with certain normal English words. I couldn't even say monster for a while. I used to say monster. Yeah. So
that Star Trek lark, you know what I mean? It's a good thing that I'm not involved with any of that, because let me tell you, mate, Star Trek, Star Wars, that shit's all the same to me straight away.
Hey, don't make me clip that and send that, boy. They will get you like the beehive.
It's just like
sending you that emoji. You start getting the emoji.
All of this stuff, and then like Klingons and bloody Millennium Falcons and like, what's the one? The Enterprise. That's the one on Star Trek, innit?
You're a trigger master, mate. You were a trigger master. You should have said Star Wars. Enterprise. That's the one of Star Wars, yeah. And the Klingons,
Beam me up,
Star Wars.
Scotty, and all of that shit. You know what I mean?
Do you know? He never actually said "beam me up, Scotty." He always said to beam up. He never actually said the words "beam me up, Scotty."
Beam me up, Scotty. Yeah, he does. Everybody knows he does.
I don't think he actually says it in the original series. No,
again, this is like Peep Show. Again, on Peep Show. Jeremy is watching Jaws, and he says the shark is called Jaws, and then Mark's like, no, the shark is not called Jaws, the film is called Jaws, and he's like, no, it's Jaws the bloody shark, he's got big jaws, he's called Jaws. But it's true, the shark's not actually called Jaws, isn't it?
So I take it you've been watching Peep Show then, Nick?
Oh no, I haven't watched it lately actually, but I'm the biggest Peep Show stan. I almost did it when I went on Mastermind. I almost did it as my specialist subject because I love it so much. You
should have, man. But you actually did go with a subject that you are good at, though. Was it grind you did go for, innit?
So like how it works is they want you to submit more than one subject. So before you go on, they're like, what would you do? And you submit like 3, and then they say, we think you should do this one. So it's kind of a little bit of, I'm ruining the magic of TV here, because they are your selections, but essentially the TV show still picks from your selections which ones they want you to do.
Interesting. Very interesting. I reckon the researchers go, yeah, ain't heard of that, ain't heard of that. Oh, yeah, heard of that. Yeah, okay, yeah, we can do research on that.
It's also partly to do with like, so my suggestions were Peep Show, Grime, and the Attitude Era in WWE.
Sick.
But somebody had done the Attitude Era not that long ago. You know, one of Sam or Mark from CBBC, one of those guys did the Attitude Era. And then for Peep Show, I think somebody had done it, you know, whereas Grime noted, like, I think I'm the first and only person who's been on Mastermind and has done Grime.
Sick. And you did all right though, didn't you?
Yeah, I did okay in the Grime round, and then the general knowledge came along, and just, well, the less said about that, the better.
Were there any questions where you knew it at the time, but the pressure started getting to you and it 100%. Kind of threw you?
The one that like sticks to it. There was one where Halle Berry was the answer. I can't remember the exact question, but I knew
Buffest ting in movies in the late 90s and early 2000s. That was the question, isn't it?
And then the one that I definitely knew, which I'm just so annoyed even to this day. This is like maybe 2 or 3 years later. I can't even remember how long ago it was. It was about, the answer was the Amazon River, right? And the question started with which river in South America, and any question that starts with that is going to be the Amazon. Like it's that is what it. They're not going to ask you some mad, random, obscure, you know, river in South America. Yeah. And I was just flustered because I'd already passed on a question before, and I weren't thinking straight, and blah blah blah. And yeah, I'm still pissed about it.
Yeah, I can see the energy in your face, bruv. It's one of them ones, though, isn't it? But in the heat of the moment, what can you do, man? What can you do? But,
time's gone. It was a moment in time.
Exactly. Before I let you fly, though, Nick, I got to say, you and I clearly still haven't had a haircut. I don't think I'm going to get one for a little while, bro. I'm loving the locks, though.
For me, like, yeah, I can tell you've obviously got the kind of the beginnings of an afro. You going to go for the full, you know, round? Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, I'm just going to flip. My headphones are over the top, so I'm going to flip them down. So I'm showing it to Nick. I currently look like an MC's microphone. That's what I think I look like at the moment. But
it's looking good though, looking healthy. Like for me, like the top, I haven't had the top cut for years anyway. So even when I was getting haircuts, I'd never get the top done. I'd only get the sides and the back done. But I'm thinking about just growing that now, because if you don't grow it now, my question is, when will you do it? Because now we've got like a bit of an excuse to do it. You know, whenever we do a lot of things, it's on Zoom. So the quality is not exactly the same. So like your hair doesn't need to be the sharpest anyway. So yeah, I'm just going to see how long. This will probably be the last time I do it in my life. You know what I mean? If I'm being real, because this shit don't last forever. You know what I mean? So
there's nothing worse than someone with long hair or plaits, but you can see like the hair at the end of the plaits is really healthy, but the hair that's next to the scalp is like grey and falling out, and like you can tell they've not got any hair. Yeah, that's not the one.
Like you can't do this forever. So, you know, I'm still in my early 30s now. So this will probably be the last time I do it. So why the hell not?
I'm going to go for it. And also, like, it's acceptable. Everybody gets that you haven't got a haircut. It's not like people are like, I like it when you had a haircut, Marcus. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm not going to the barbers because I don't feel it's COVID safe. And they're like, we respect that. Yeah,
I don't want man breathing all over me while I'm sitting in that chair. You know what I mean?
Bruv, your barber is probably the person that gets physically the closest to you after your other half.
Yeah.
100%. They touch your face in ways that your missus don't.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
Like, even my housemate who I live with, like, your barber gets closer than your housemate. Well, maybe not some people, because, you know, they might be having affairs with their housemates or whatever. You know, we can't speak for everybody. But, you know, generally, you know, it's wild.
You can tell if your barber's not brushed their teeth properly that day. You could. That's how close they are to your fate. And if they're not getting that close, they're not doing their job right.
Or if they haven't washed their hands after eating their lunch. You know what I mean? Start smelling like mad, like tacos and that. You're like, what's that smell?
Hey, bruv, did you stand up when you wiped your ass? Because you got shitty smelling fingers, bruv. Oh, man. But yeah, you were talking about fans before. The footy fans, they must be pretty frantic because it's quite a weird time in sports right now, isn't it? And we know you do loads of presenting with Arsenal and stuff like that. So what are they like online at the moment?
Well, Arsenal fans just the same as ever, irrational. Sad, and
upset,
just
depressed.
Like out here.
Yeah.
But it is weird. Like, you know, I've been doing Arsenal. I've been presenting the Arsenal matchday show now for a while. And obviously normally I do it from the Emirates Stadium, home or away. They've got like a green screen studio in the Emirates, and you know, you're surrounded by 60,000 people in the stadium and all of that. But now I'm doing that show, the same show, but from downstairs where my studio setup is, like in my house. And that's the weird thing, because I'm also doing my 5 Live radio show from home as well. The only radio show that I don't do from home, or the only thing that I don't do from home, is my 1Xtra show. For that, I'm still going into New Broadcasting House, but I've got the facilities downstairs to do it from home, but they're less trusting, and they don't want people doing it from home. But it is a really weird feeling, like when you're going on air to, you know, thousands of people who are listening to you, or watching you, and you're just sitting downstairs in your house. You know, that's one thing that I still haven't really got used to. Because I guess, you know, there's YouTubers and people who do that all the time. But it's different being on a national radio station, because being a YouTuber is like, you've always been out on your own from the very start, and your fan base has grown, and it's your thing. And part of your thing is that you do stuff from your home. Whereas like a national radio station, especially Radio 5 Live, it's a news and sports station where, like, you know, if there was a war, or, you know, some mad stuff going on in the House of Commons, people would tune into Radio 5 Live. So to be able to present on that station from home is bizarre.
Must be quite an experience, man. Yeah, it's interesting though. But it's good to know that kit nowadays, we said for years, like, oh, you know, we've got kit good enough that you could record a show from home, and no one's really been willing to take the jump. We've had a few exceptions that we've heard of in broadcasting that work from home, but now the fact that you are doing it from home, it's sounding good, Nick. Like, it's not sounding out of place. You're not sounding like you're recording shows on a potato. It
totally
sounds proper. Like, so, like, at the same time, is it quite freeing as well to know that you don't have to wear trousers when you're doing your show? I guess you can just roll in your boxers and slippers.
Well, I'm wearing a pair of shorts now, at the moment, and like basically I like live in these sliders.
Done though.
Like so when I'm doing my show, I'm either in shorts and tracksuit bottoms and these sliders. But like that would never happen if I was doing it in a studio. If I was, you know, and for my 5 Live show as well, I should point out that most of the time I have to go to Manchester, and I live in London. So normally on a Saturday night, I'll have to go on the train all the way to Manchester, stay in Manchester Saturday night, do the radio show Sunday morning, then come back to London Sunday afternoon. And that takes up a huge chunk of time, as you can imagine. Now that's totally gone. Like now, literally, I wake up in the morning, Sunday morning, I'm just pottering around here in my drum, eating my porridge and all of that, get in the shower, jump out, go downstairs, do the radio show. And it's much better. Like, and I think what we're going to see now, not just in broadcasting, but in all aspects of life, we're going to see working from home and remote working and things like that become more and more of a general accepted thing. And I personally, I think that's a good thing. And we're seeing that in the, again, I don't want to turn this into a finance podcast now, but we're seeing that in the housing market in London, especially the rental market. People aren't taking up new leases in London, because why do you want to live in London? The two main reasons that people live in London, because if you're listening to this, you don't live in London, it is astronomically expensive to live in London. If you live in New York, it's on par with, you know, people who live in New York, right? The two reasons people live in London: one, to be able to commute to their job easily, or two, the social element of living in London, the bars, the clubs, the theatres, you know, all of that crap. Both of those things are gone now. There's nobody's going to work really. Some people are, don't get me wrong. You know, I'm not going to say everybody's working from home, but a lot of office workers essentially are working from home. You know, bankers working from home. So they ain't commuting in. And then the social side of it, they're trying to reopen theatres and trying to reopen this and that. But who feels confident to go to those places? Because I know I don't. I used to work in a cinema, right? And when I was at uni. And unless things have drastically changed, seats ain't getting cleaned after every use and stuff like that. And I don't want to sound like a germaphobe because, you know, but that is what it is. You know, that needs to happen now. So, yeah, back to my original point. people now aren't taking up leases in London, and they're moving like to Hertfordshire. They're moving to like the counties around London. So they'll go to Hertfordshire, they'll go to Surrey, they'll go to Essex, they'll go to Middlesex, whatever, because they can get for what they're paying for like a room in London, they can get an actual flat in a lot of these places, and you can't blame them.
Plus, if this all kicks off again and you need to socially distance, I'll be honest, it's hard in certain parts of central London to socially distance, even with the best intentions.
Bro, it's mad. Like, it also, not only that, you can get gardens are going to be a big thing. I was reading a property article the other day, and they're saying people are moving away from London because you're working from home, so you need more space to have a work area. So it can't just be your room. You know what I mean? In London, people live in a room and then they've got a communal dining room or a communal living room. You can't work from home in those situations because it's not professional. You need to be doing Zoom calls and all that crap, and you can't have your housemates and stuff behind you. Well, you can, but it don't really look good. So people are moving further out so that they've got more space so they can work from home. But also, if there's a second wave, we don't know if there is going to be. Some people are saying, there will be. Some people are saying there won't be. Don't know who to believe. I'm not a scientist, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. But if there is a second wave, people want outdoor space, bruv. Gardens, so important, and that's what we're seeing. So there may be a dip in the property market in a not too distant future. Who knows?
Definitely looking like it's going to be a buyer's market right now. Again, this ain't a property podcast, but if people, all it's going to take is people going, I need to sell the house, I can't believe we need to sell the house before the house prices drop. They take that little offer that's a little bit lower. Somebody else hears that house prices are a bit lower in this area. Someone comes along and starts putting in obnoxiously low offers, and people get even more nervous. Like, shit, they're only offering me, 90% of what my asking price is. I better just get rid of it quick. Boom.
Yeah.
The mental, like the house of cards falls, and then we're going to be in a very interesting situation. But I mean, the positives that we can take out of this is that big companies that have said in the past it will take 3 years to implement remote working have had to do it within 3 weeks.
It's so good.
We can do it, bruv.
I'm glad. Like certain things, obviously, I'm not glad for a global pandemic where thousands of people have died. That's terrible.
Of course.
Like, in terms of like the silver linings, I guess, the slim silver linings that are out there. One of them that's come out of this is that exactly what you say. Being able to work remotely and work from home now is the norm, and it's accepted. And I feel like that should have been the case before anyway for work-life balance.
Yeah.
You think back to what people were doing before. Some people were commuting into London, which would take an hour. So they'd leave their house maybe at 7 a.m., get into work at 8. Then they'd work until 6, commute back home for an hour, so they wouldn't get home until 7, half 7. Most people weren't getting home in time to put their kids to bed and blah, blah, blah. All of that's going to change.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of work-life balance, we're better off. But, a byproduct of what's happened is some businesses, if you work in an office, it's cool. But some businesses don't operate that way, and lots of people have lost their jobs. And that's obviously massively unfortunate as well. 100%. So who knows what's going to happen, but like I say, there are some silver linings to what's happening in the world at the moment, but hopefully by the time we next speak on this podcast, it'll be very, very different what's going on out there, and we might actually be in the studio behind you. Who knows?
Well, you know what? I might as well be honest. Like, it made me think about wants and needs a lot, like this, because obviously, as like a owner of my own businesses, and like you're a businessman yourself, you have to be where you operate in your job as a broadcaster. It makes you think about what resources do you need. And then the studio is quite an interesting one, because I was like, it's a great place to have, but we are all able to record, and I just thought, you know what? I'm not really going to be able to invite a guest. If we can start doing guest interviews again, I can't really invite them over to my gaff to do a recording. But then on the other flip side, I was like, but people are so used to recording from Zoom, like Zooms and stuff from home. Like, we had the episode with Shaggy, just done it in one of his many studios that he has in his New York apartment. So it's quite interesting as businesses, like you said, for ones where you just need straight office work. Working from home is great. It saves resources. There's more space on public transport. You have happier staff, whatever. But then there's other businesses that require physical interaction to operate, and they're struggling. So, man, I'll make you right on all of that, Nick, man. How did we get into this such a serious but relevant spiral of conversation?
No, but sometimes, you know,
Yeah, go on.
sometimes these conversations need to be had, innit? Like,
Always.
we love, you know, pissing around on this podcast and having a laugh, like, but equally, the serious shit is there, you know.
Yeah, man.
And
Yeah.
anybody listening to this who, you know, maybe going through some shit, going through, you know, the ringer with COVID and all that, hopefully this shit gets sorted fast and,
Yeah, man.
you know, you get out of that hole, because it's horrible what's going on out there. And the quicker we can get back to some kind of normal, because as things are, man, you know, these people that think we're going to just spring back to where we were before all this, that's unfortunately, you know, not going to happen until there's some kind of medication or vaccine or whatever it is. But, you know, until that time, let's try and get back to some kind of normality, and hopefully we just get control of the disease and less people die, which is what we're seeing now. You know, the downward trend is good in a lot of places, and you know, hopefully that will continue.
100%, man. Keep wearing your masks, keep washing your hands. I'm
Yeah.
with you on that stuff, man. Before I let you go, Nick, I am interested though. You did say you had some good kit. Like, what are you using to record from? Because Ace kind of let us know what he has. He's got a Rodecaster desk. He's got a Rode mic. He's talked us through a bit of his kit. But I'm just curious, what are you using to record with?
What, right now or?
Oh yeah, well right now you're using a was it Samsung Q2U? U2U? That's what it is.
Q2U, yeah, because you dropped it around my house. So
this isn't a product plug. This isn't no sponsorship thing.
That's how you know. But downstairs, the reason I'm doing this because I'm in my bedroom at the moment.
Yeah,
that's why there's trainers and stuff behind me. But my
flossing.
my setup is downstairs with my housemate, who, you know, this is like relevant to what we were just talking about, people working from home. My housemate works for a domestic violence charity, so she's working from home at the moment, and she works in the same room that my setup's in. So down there I've got Rodecaster. Again, Rode must have made so much pee in this lockdown. Mr. Rode must be sitting there like, what, this lockdown? This lockdown's been yeah, you know what I mean? This lockdown's been all right. You know? Long may it continue, because you know, as soon as this lockdown happened, I wanted to buy a Rodecaster anyway. I had my eye on one for time. But you know, when it's like, it's a little bit like what you were saying about companies who said remote working would take 3 years and now they've done it in 3 months. That's a little bit like me with my studio. Before all this happened, I didn't have anything. I had nothing. Like, I had the ideas, because also I'm waiting to move as well. I'm moving house hopefully soon. It's a little bit up in the air at the moment because of what's going on in the world. But yeah, anyway, so I was like, well, I'm not going to get this studio until I move, and then I'll put a studio together and blah blah blah. But obviously, needs must. You know, I've had to buy everything. Now I got like lights, and, you know, just everything. So downstairs I've got the Rodecaster, and then plugged into the Rodecaster I've got the SM7B, like what you're using right there, and I've got the Rode PSA arm. Is that what you're using there? I can't really tell.
No, I'm just using a cheap. I think it's just a pulse light, just a regular straight arm that I've got on a tripod.
Is that PSA's behind you though, that you've got in the studio?
Yeah. Oh yeah. In the real studio that's actually behind me. Yeah. That in that picture.
Yeah.
It's I think it's the PSAs we've got with the table side clip instead of drilling a hole through the desk.
Yeah. So that's the same here. I haven't drilled the hole through the desk. Because I'm not going to do that, because that's mad. And then aside from that, I'm running most things through my laptop, because you can go into the Rodecaster from your laptop. The good thing about the Rodecaster Pro that people may not know is they had a firmware update recently, and in that update, basically the meters on the screen, you can set it to broadcast mode, so you get the you know, the proper broadcast meters, so you know that you're not clipping audio and stuff like that. And also, it's got if you're running, say if me and you plugged this conversation that we're having now on Zoom on our laptops, well, I don't know what you've got, I'm on a laptop. If I plugged this into my Rodecaster, there's a mix minus for the USB channel, so that you won't hear yourself back, whereas that never used to be there, because when the Rodecaster came out, it wasn't made for people plugging into it from their computer. It was made to record in person. if you know what I mean. So 4 people in a room recording, and then like phone calls. That's why it's got the phone channels. But the USB channel just gives you a lot more flexibility and opens up a world of possibilities. So the mix minus there is really important. Google it if you don't know what mix minus is. It's nerdy, so I don't want to go into too much detail. And then the other thing that came in the update, which is great for me because I'm a radio broadcaster, is when you fade up any of the mic channels, there's the option for your monitors to cut. And for me, when they brought that out, because I'd been talking to somebody about like, how can I get a piece of kit that goes in between the Rodecaster and my monitors, that when I fade the mic up, it'll cut the monitors, and it's just getting mad complicated because I wanted it to be like a radio studio. I wanted it to be as much like the radio studios at work as possible, because that's what happened. When I'm at Radio 1 and 1 Extra, if you fade up the microphone, the monitor's cut. You know what I mean? And they just put that update in, and I was like, you guys have smashed this for me. So now I'm just gassed when I fade up my mic. It's like, cut. I'm like, yeah, boy, man's in the studio at home. You get me?
You just need a little red light that you put on as well. That's what you want.
It's so good. Speaking of monitors, actually, I've got the I use the IK Multimedia Minis. You know, the are they called IK Multimedia Minis? I bought them a little while back. So
IK, is it KRK?
No, iLoud Micro. So
All
it's IK Multimedia. They're the same people that make the iRig.
Okay, yeah.
You can make and the iStream and all of that. So I use the IK Multimedia iLoud Micros. They're basically the size of, the good thing about them, right, is they're around the size of, do you remember when you used to, you'll remember this, Marcus, you're similar age to me, like your first PC that you had at home, which was the family PC, and it was like all in a box, and it's like in the box you would have the tower, the big ass monitor, and it would come with speakers, and the speakers were about like, I don't know, like that big.
Yes.
And these are like the same size, so they've played on old like PC speakers essentially, but they're way better. They're like, there's people that use them to mix tunes when they're mastering tunes and stuff like that.
Well, they sound that good. Wow. They're
powerful. They're not quite as good, as the really high spec monitors that you can get out there. But, some people use them as a secondary mixing speaker and stuff like that, so that, they'll listen to it on their expensive monitor, and then they'll also listen to it on these ones as well. Because realistically, I'm not producing music, so I didn't need them to do that job. I literally needed it's self-indulgent, really. I don't need them, if I'm being honest, because as a broadcaster who's on talk radio, so 5 Live, my show is speech. So we're talking for the whole time. So the mic's up the whole time. So really nothing's coming out of the speakers. The reason I got the speakers in the first place was before we go live, my producer likes to talk to me and stuff like that. So to make it so that I didn't have to wear the headphones all the time and be wedded to the desk, I got these speakers so that if I was in the kitchen and my producer's like, Nick, are you there? Like, I can hear her chatting to me.
When you got a mouthful of hot chocolate hobnobs. Yeah.
In a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, the setup's really, really, really good. And I managed to buy this is so extra. The desk that I've got is, I bought the electric desk from IKEA, the one that goes up and down. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but like basically, I bought it because, again, our desks at work, the broadcast desks at work, you've got the ability to stand up or sit down when you're broadcasting. So I went to IKEA and I just got this desk, and it's sick. I mean, I only ever use it sitting down. It's, again, mad self-indulgent, but like, I just wanted it.
The Becant, I think it is. I just did a quick Google. Becant? I'm looking at it.
No.
Is it not
two.
All right.
It's IKEA stand-up desk. I'll be able to find it.
Ain't cheap though, Nick. Nick Bright's doing all right, mate. I'll tell you that for free. Mate.
Is the?
I would have got the wound up one. It's like half the price.
Yeah, I wanted the electric one just so you could floss on them. It's the.
You can't really floss with wind up. What's it called? That
Idesen.
I understand, but you can't really floss if anything's wind up or wind down. I remember my first car, and I like want to lean over and like wind down the window and like check a lady. It's not sexy when you're going.
No, yeah. and also in my first car, I had the wind up windows, but I also had the the little like weird thing on the seat to make the seat like go backwards and forwards. It used to be like a thing that you had to twist, but because it was behind you, it's so awkward. It was never easy. It was like mad hard, and it was the worst thing. Now you just got like a little lever, and you go like.
No aircon as well. Mate, there was no swag. In my first car, it was so swagless. There's no way I could step out of that looking or feeling cool in any way, bruv. But it's a learning experience, isn't it?
Had no aircon and no power steering. That was the big one for me. The no power steering. If you were trying to move that steering wheel, if the car wasn't moving, you would look like Arms Corleone, bruv, after just doing one bit of parallel parking. It's mad.
Madness. Also, your studio looked like it had some sexy lighting in there. I did see a picture on the gram where it looks like you got some custom Arsenal coloured light in there, bruv.
Yeah, well, it's not Arsenal light. It's basically I got the Philips Hue light strips, and I just put them down the back of the desk because I've got Philips Hue in my house anyway. In this room now, I've got a lamp over there, the main light, and a lamp over there. Just so I can make it feel like I'm in the Sahara and all of that crap that you can do on Philips Hue. And yeah, I'm just trying to replicate as much as possible a budget version of the studios at work, with the mood lighting and all of that crap. I've even managed to buy this is like nothing because basically any podcast anywhere has done this now, but the little on-air light that you can get that just says on air. I bought one of those.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it doesn't, unfortunately, unlike at work, there's no way of making that come on when I fade the microphone up. Haven't managed to, get that advanced yet. So it's just one that's on all the time.
I think we'll see if we can hook you up. I think there might be a way around that, Nick. I also think it's the best narkiest way to let your flatmate know you're on air. If they ever walk in by accident, you just hold the light up to them and go, on air.
But she's pretty, it's pretty cool actually. She kind of just knows when she can just hear me talking crap in there. She knows. That's the only thing, because like I got a mad loud voice in it, so like if I'm just like doing stuff in there, she's like trying to watch TV next door, and I'm like, yeah. So anyway, it's like.
Oh man, it's work though, isn't it? But yeah, man, no, look, honestly, it looks really cool, man. I've been seeing how the studio looks, and I think part of it is getting into a vibe and making your space. One thing I've noticed about working from home is it's hard to differentiate between working space and non-working space. So by doing that, you've got a little working vibe, and then when you de-rig or turn everything off or shut it down, then that space now becomes a home space. Because for me, I find it very hard to switch off without a change in space. So I could be laptop's there. Do you know what I mean? So I can do work. Do you know what I mean? At any point. So I'm like, fuck, I need to send that file. So instead of doing it tomorrow, I open up the laptop, crack on.
That's why people say, before all this working from home, they find it really hard to be motivated. But it's all about having a working space from home. And if you can, it goes back to our conversation about being outside London or, moving to a bigger property. If you can have that working space in a different room to your chilling space. So my working space, like I said, is in the dining room in this house, which is kind of like it's like a little area that you walk through to get to the kitchen. So I would never sit in there any other time than when I'm working. It's it's not in the same area as the living room. The living room's next door. You know what I mean? So if I'm chilling in the living room, it don't feel like I'm in the work zone.
Yeah, I hear that, man. I hear that totally. Man, it's going to be very interesting just having this conversation with you 3 months into lockdown, and we had a chat kind of right at the start and how our mindsets have kind of changed around the whole scenario. Before, I remember us just going, oh my God, we're eating all the biscuits. It's mad. It's jokes. I don't know what's going on. And now we're like, look, we've actually found ways to do things. You know what I mean?
You have to.
So it's interesting to see, like you just said, like what our conversation is going to be like when we next catch up and kind of go through where we are with this whole lockdown situation, man, because it's interesting. Also, one thing, I'll leave you with this, and I'll leave the audience with this as well. Working from home, if you can successfully sort that out where you don't need to go into your office, now, bearing in mind, you might have to get up at odd times of day, you could work from anywhere that has internet.
Yeah.
You could work from LA. You could work in France. So that kind of, in terms of what you said about decentralization, but the kind of the change of London being a hub, it's not just that. You can literally go, you could be in Tuscany, bruv. I could be in Nigeria. As long as I got broadband, what's the difference right now with regards to what we're doing?
From Abuja, bruv.
Hey, Lagos and Abuja. Wait, listen. You know it's popping off. Someone's exhaust popping off outside the yard. But anyway, look, Nick, I'm going to let you go now. Where can we find you? Where should we look for you?
Best bet is social media, mate. Nick Bright DJ on Twitter, and then just to complicate things, it's just Nick Bright on Instagram, because there is a Nick Bright on Twitter, and you guys don't stop bombarding poor Nick because he listens to the show actually. So so big up Nick. Good name. Firstly,
great name.
But secondly, like I feel sorry for him, because I think it's because like you do stuff on Insta, and then when you push it through to Twitter, because you tagged me as Nick Bright on Insta, and then it goes through to Twitter, he's just getting bare notifications, and he's just like, "Oh, leave me alone."
Do you know what? Bless him. He's so polite. He's like, "I think you guys got the wrong Nick," and he says it like politely, like it's the first time every time. And I feel like if I was him by now, I'd just be like tagging you, or I'd just be like fucking like replying back, going, guys." But really, what he should do is he should do the gentlemanly thing and swap tags with you. That's what you should do, Nick.
But if he's not a DJ, then it won't make sense.
Yeah, I know, but you know what? Just help out our Nick Bright. Let's, you know what? For a favor, help out a broadcaster by keeping everything on his socials nice and streamlined. Like, I'm not saying, Nick, you've lost work because people can't find you on certain social media channels. I'm just saying it would be easier to find you if everything was the same. So Nick Bright on Twitter, just have a think about it, mate. Maybe we'll even bring you on the show for a discussion, because I feel like we've talked about you so much, it would be rude not to have you on the show.
Maybe, and again, I don't know this, maybe Nick Bright on Twitter has been like hoovering up voiceover work and hoovering up like work that was meant for me, and then he's just blagging it. Opportunist.
Yes, he's shopping.
I mean, I wouldn't blame him. That's what I'd be doing. I'd be like, yeah, I'm Nick Bright. Yeah,
that'd be flipping wicked if you're like, yeah, Nintendo want you to do some more work, and you're like, Nintendo, I ain't worked with them for ages. Yeah, you did a job for them last week. But love the new voice, by the way. Great voice, Nick.
I love the way you managed to change it. I mean, it's just really, most voice actors can't do that, but you sound like a totally different person.
All right, man. Well, look, Nick, I just want to say thank you very much for being a part of How to Kill an Hour, man. Look, I know we're only 100 episodes in, but we're award-winning right now.
100
you know
episodes.
What I mean?
It's a lie. We're only like 300 episodes in, but we've saved 100 for this.
I said I wanted to save 100 for a special time, and look, this is very special. But on a serious note, thanks for being part of the family, man. And like, long may How to Kill an Hour continue, man, because there's certainly loads of new ways that we can kill time out there, man. And I think tech is more important than ever, really, at this moment in time. So yeah. Cheers,
big
bruv.
up you lot for what you're doing. Also, big up Billy, even though I don't know whether he's listening to this or what, but hold tight, Bill. I mean, I don't know whether he's listening to this right now as we record or what. But yeah, keep listening to How to Kill an Hour, because you ain't got anything else to do. You know what I mean?
think that's a great strap line. That's going to be our new one. In fact, we'll use that at the end of this show. So yeah, I've been Marcus Bronzy.
Yeah, I've been Nick Bright.
And yeah, keep killing time out there and keep listening to the show, because there's nothing else better to do. Bless.
Stop pretending you want to go to the pub and get that pint of Corona.
Oh, fuck. Let's stop now. Don't get me started on that.